sorry that I'm talking so quietly and that I don't have a better microphone and that just the noise in the room generated from the computer and, background noises outside my room are going to make it maybe difficult to hear me. I'm going to just get started talking about what I want to talk about. This might get confusing because I haven't planned it out. It's totally unrehearsed. If I need to write stuff down for you, I will. Okay, basically what I'm going to talk about are fundamentals, basic concepts to help you understand why particular vitamins, minerals, amino acid supplements work to resolve, to basically maintain mental health, to alleviate depression, to alleviate anxiety, to, improve your health, improve your mood, and reduce really your body's physical load of stress. Okay, so stress. Stress is a big deal. It's not just something in your head. It's not just something you imagine. It's actually a process in your body. Stress affects your body on a cellular level, a physiological level. Stress affects your cells. Stress affects your DNA. Stress affects your digestive function. Stress affects your brain. It affects everything. If your body is dealing with more stress than usual, it's going to consume more nutrients than usual. So if you're running on empty, obviously your body will have to deal with more than just the stress. It'll have to deal with, whoa, what happened to all this magnesium that I needed for all these coenzymatic reactions over here for this other thing? You're using it all up to, diminish these levels of fight or flight hormones. Hey, human, why aren't you taking care of me? I'm taking care of you. I'm keeping you alive. You're not giving me what I need. So it has always been that I am very sensitive to stress. Ever since I was very young, sensitive to stress. It could be simple things like having to speak to strangers, having to speak in public, having to meet new people, having attention on me. These are stressful things for me. Getting into an argument, that's stressful. Getting in trouble, that's stressful. Being punished, that's stressful. So you've got these psychosocial stressors, right? But there's also the factor of what's going on inside your body. That your body's stressed because it's not getting what it needs from what you're eating, from your food, or the food that you're eating, you might not be absorbing it adequately. And that's what was going on. And I didn't figure this out for a very long time. And no one at the time would have known this was happening because this was the 1980s that I was born and grew up. I spent, a good chunk of my childhood in the 1980s, and their approach back then to the problems I was having in terms of infections, I got a lot of sinus infections, strep throat, was to prescribe antibiotics. Not the smartest thing to do. If they'd known to just take me off of dairy and sugar, then a lot of the problems I was having with my sinuses would have just gone away and they wouldn't have needed to give me antibiotics. And something you should know about ear infections is that, guess what? Antibiotics are about as effective as placebo. So antibiotics can actually cause other problems in the human body, and they don't really resolve the ear infection at all. In fact, the person's more likely to have recurrent ear infections after taking courses of antibiotics. So I had problems of that nature growing up, and so did my siblings, actually. One of them had so many problems with his throat that eventually they had his tonsils removed when he was older. I still have mine. I was like, no way am I gonna get those out. I am incredibly distracted Something that I haven't done yet today is eat and take my supplements. I've had some water, but that's a very important aspect of my day. Every day I need to make sure I eat. I need to take my B-complex vitamins. I need to take separately vitamin B3, which is niacin, vitamin B2, which is riboflavin, and magnesium. I was taking vitamin D, but I ran out. And I took omega-3 fish oil in the form of EPA and DHA for many months until I couldn't afford to keep doing it. But fish oil, thankfully, is something that even if you only take it for 2 weeks, you're going to see a benefit for up to a year. So that makes me feel a little bit better about not being able to take that every day. So it's going to affect my attention, it's going to affect my concentration, it's going to affect my tension level, my inner perception of tension. Pretty much after dealing with about a decade of malabsorption, and then even before that decade of serious malabsorption, there was a low-grade kind of chronic malnutrition, malabsorption going on even before it got really bad in the past decade. I have to compensate for just year after year after year of my body not getting enough of what it needs. So it's crucial that I take care of myself every day. And some people say, well, why don't you get your vitamins from your food? Well, of course I do. Everyone does. But with supplements, I know exactly how much I'm getting, and I can control the frequency with which I take it. So every time I eat, I can take my niacin and my riboflavin, and in the afternoon and toward the evening I can take my magnesium to help me relax. And I know how much I've taken. It's not like, well, I ate this potato and I don't know what soil it was grown in, and maybe it has this much, of these particular nutrients, and maybe it doesn't. I don't have a laboratory where I can, cut up the potato into little pieces and measure what's in it per gram. That's why I like having supplements, so I can control my dose, control the frequency with which I take it. So going back to March 2011, I was reading about schizophrenia. What fascinated me was that in twin studies, monozygotic twins, I don't call them identical because technically they're not identical. Twins can be as much as 12% different from each other in terms of DNA. So monozygotic twins, which means that they came from the same egg. The egg split, and there were, two babies instead of one. I even know a set of monozygotic twins that you can just tell looking at them that there were some differences that happened during their development. Just their facial structure, their personalities are a little bit different. So the point in relation to schizophrenia is that one twin could develop it and the other twin could not. And they've seen in twin studies that it's a rate of about 50%. That if one twin has schizophrenia, the other will develop it. So what this says is, hey, genetics is only half of what makes you vulnerable to schizophrenia. The other half is environment. Now, environment includes food you eat or don't eat, which could include malabsorption. If you're eating it but not absorbing it, that's to be considered in the environment. Also, stress. The actual environment, like the house you're in, the people you're around, even pollutants in your environment, like in, your drinking water and the air you breathe. If you're living in a toxic environment, chemically, that's going to put stress on the body. That's environment. If you're around people who are arguing a lot, or who are physically abusive or verbally abusive, that's stressful. That's a part of environment. But a big concern in my case was the nutritional aspects. I didn't know for a very long time that I just was not getting nutrition out of my food. And neither did my family, neither did my mom. In fact, she didn't even know she had celiac disease, and she probably had it during several of her pregnancies. So this is going to affect fetal growth, it's going to affect birth weight, it's going to affect the mental health of the mother while she's pregnant. If the baby is taxing these nutrients and the mother is not getting enough for herself, because, got to take care of the baby, it can affect her mood. My mom was very depressed. She said she was the most depressed during her pregnancy with me. So, obviously that was a stressful pregnancy. I was full term, I believe, 6 pounds, 14 ounces. So, even though I was probably the smallest baby my mom had had, could have been worse.